talking about public Wi-Fi the other day at a cafe. A lot of our staff are hybrid working at the moment, and that means we're working from anywhere at times. So we had a really interesting conversation that midway through the conversation, I was like, hold that thought, we'd love to share it. So Liam and I are going to take you through that chat, and hopefully you learned something like I did, because I didn't realize how much I didn't know. So what are some of the risks?
Public Wi-Fi.
Public Wi-Fi.
The first thing that people often think is that it's just a cruel joke IT people are playing on the rest of the world, that actually public Wi-Fi is fine and we just want you all to be unhappy. Public Wi-Fi, it does present a security risk for all of the data that's on your machine and all the information you're sending back and forth over the internet when you are using that public Wi-Fi. You don't know who else is sharing that free internet connection which is available. It's like walking into a room of a whole bunch of people and then expecting everyone to just share everything openly. You wouldn't do it. You'd want to know who was there and why they were there before you spoke freely. In the same breath, you might go to your favorite cafe and it says Liam's Cafe's free Wi-Fi. And you'd go, great, Liam's a good bloke, I'll use his free Wi-Fi. But how do you know it's actually me that set that Wi-Fi up? It could be Dodgy Bob next door is hosting a Wi-Fi network for the express purpose of lifting people's details, and just advertises it as a trustworthy name.
I mean, I would never expect anyone to do that, which was part of the reason the conversation was so interesting to me. So what are some of the risks associated with that?
So again, for a lot of people hearing what I've just said, that's meaningless. What you're doing when you're on the internet is you're sending in plain text a whole bunch of information. Often the session that you have with your email provider, that's encrypted. But when you're first connecting, not all of those elements are encrypted. Or if you're logging into a website, or if you've got a password tool that you're using, which is freely sharing information, a lot of those things are not encrypted in the first instance. It's only once the session is established. So your computer on a network actually pumps out personal information constantly, and you need to make sure that your computer A is protected and is minimized in what it's sharing. But even then, to be functional, it does have to share that information. And if someone, a malicious bad actor, is on that free network with you, then yeah, who knows how much of your content they've lifted on the way through.
So what can I do, or what can we do if we're going to work at a cafe to do that safely?
Sure. I think a couple of simple steps. The first thing I would do is just check with the place, is this your network? You know, Liam's Cafe, is this your internet connection? Yeah, it is. Great. Or the hotel I'm staying at, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
See if you can get, if it's one password for everybody to use, that means you're all in the same session. If everyone gets an individual password, that's an increase in security, and you're potentially then in your own little environment, which is more secure. It may not be, but that's a good indicator that they've given it some thought.
Yeah, right.
If the password is written on the menu at the cafe, you can guarantee that every person in there is using that network. It's not safe. Some things that you can do if you're not sure, just use the hotspot on your phone. That's your own private internet session. You are the only person on that network. So that's a really great tool. Or if you need to do a lot of this kind of stuff, you could use a VPN. A VPN is a session or an application that we can run on a computer to basically put an encryption tunnel around everything you're doing on the internet. So it doesn't matter whether your computer is protecting the information or not, whether a session is securely established or not. You've wrapped everything in a cocoon, and you're sending it through the internet in a hidden shroud. And that's, of course, a really great option as well. And then, of course, you can just not do secure stuff when you're on public Wi-Fi. Don't do your banking when you're at the local cafe.
You can't have a coffee and work.
You can, just don't work on sensitive content. Don't work on private information.
Oh, well, I hope that you've learned something, because I certainly did in our chat. Thanks for listening, and
cheers.